Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back to another episode of UNC Hoops Talk. Boy, do we got some stuff to talk about this week. At the time, ranked number 7, UNC took down in a pretty dramatic game, come from behind game, kind of a lucky win. Number 20, Tennessee, a game I was at. We'll talk about that, talk about my experience and all that good stuff. And then moved up to number 5 in the rankings over the weekend. And, of course, we lay an egg at home against Wofford. So we're going to, of course, get into that. Thank you for listening, joining in the conversation of UNC Hoops Talk podcast, the podcast by a fan for a fan, where we unite Tar Heel Nation episode by episode, game by game. But let's jump into it. There's, a lot to get to, and I don't want to take too much of your time as we still got more games coming up. And, of course, busy holiday season is amongst us. Merry Christmas and happy holidays already. But yeah, the Tennessee game, it is a game I went to. I actually kind of vlogged my trip. It was the first kind of vlog I've done. But if you want to watch that, is up on YouTube. Search UNC Hoops Talk, or if you're subscribed already, it is in your feed there. Check it out. Be kind, but let me know what you think as well. Had some fun doing it. And yeah, so good experience. I'm going to talk about my experience at the game a little bit later. But first, we're going to get into the game. It turned out to be a 78-73 come-from-behind game for the Tar Heels. Very poor first half, sluggish first half. I don't know if it's sluggish, really. They were playing hard, I think, just really sloppy. 12 turnovers in the first half. Weren't rebounding. I don't know. We're not into it. We're not, let's see, shooting-wise, we shot 42% from the field, 43% from the three-point line. 100% from 1-for-1 from the free throw line in the first half. So that was nothing. But yeah, I don't think we weren't as aggressive. They were more aggressive. Their aggressive defense messed with us. Messed with Joel Berry. Got him a couple of fouls, and refs were. I don't know. I don't like to blame the refs. I don't like to be that guy. But from my point of view at the game too, and I said this during the game on Twitter. What they were getting away with on rebounds and hacking us and kind of knocking the ball out of our hands by hitting our arms and stuff was being called on us, and we weren't allowed to be as aggressive. I don't think we were as aggressive. Maybe that's why the refs made that adjustment or started calling it that way or whatever. But it was a factor. They were hitting the ball, not hitting the ball out of our hands. They were hitting our hands, and the ball would come loose and stuff. I saw that on several occasions. But yeah, we can't blame the refs. We got to, grow up, be stronger, and hold on to the ball. There was one, I think it was in the second half even, early second half. Jalik didn't box out, but the ball came right past him. He could have just went and got it. He just kind of watched, and Tennessee got an offensive rebound and scored on that possession. So yeah, it was our bigger guys. Luke had a little bit of trouble. Luke shot poorly in the first half. Played poorly in the first half, which a lot of our guys did. So let's see if I can see we were down 6. I know that 38-32 at halftime. We were lucky to be down only 6. But again, with the 12 turnovers, we were being out rebounded in the first half, and yeah, just was not pretty. Let's see, points in the paint. Let's see, that's overall. That's not first half. So yeah, we did come back and we won the points in the paint, 40-24, which fairly significant difference, but I don't know what it was at halftime. Points off of turnovers turned out even. Second chance points, in other words, off of offensive rebounds, which it was 19-18 in our favor. It was pretty close, 20-16 in our favor. Fast break points, 11-7 in our favor. Their bench outscored ours 21-11. Really, the difference was we came in, knocked down some shots in the second half. We really didn't shoot a ton better. Looking at the percentages, we shot 44% in the second half, 30% from the free throw or from the three-point line, and then 72% from the free throw line. Which, 2 of those I remember was Sterling Manley misses, and really we were getting the stops. Our defense was pretty excellent in the second half. We were getting the stops. There was, I know, at least 2 different times I tweeted out, like, if we could get 2 to 3 stops and convert on offense, obviously we'd take the lead, but also we would, I think, kind of really put not a nail in the coffin. They would still be in the game, but it would really be a heartbreaker. It definitely changed the momentum. And there's another time it was one possession game. We just could not convert to take the lead or to get kind of a 2-possession lead. We finally took the lead with 2 minutes and 42 seconds. I think unless we led early in the game, that was the first lead we had taken. And yeah, I think I even saw or heard a graphic that we led for 90 seconds of the game, minute and a half, and then there was about a minute that it was tied, and Tennessee led for 37 minutes and 10 seconds of the game. So yeah, we were really lucky to get out of there. Our defense was good. Just could not convert on offense the way we normally do. We ended up with 17 assists, 16 turnovers, way too many turnovers. Like we know, like I said, a lot of those in the first half. Yeah, I mean, it was a good win. I'd said on the last podcast, if we lost there, it would be not a bad loss because it would be at a ranked opponent's home. But and I say this in the vlog if you watch that, but I would have been mad if we would have lost because it was a winnable game and that we weren't playing good. I don't mind losing. I can watch the Tar Heels lose without getting upset or angry if we're playing well and we just lose. If we play poorly and lose, obviously no excuse. You know, even playing poorly and winning, I don't really like watching, but at least you get out of there with the W. So I would not have been happy if we would have lost. Obviously, being in person, being from the state, well, not from the state, I live in the state of Tennessee. And, you know, I said this to somebody, I never hear anybody talk about Tennessee basketball. Like, it's never talked about. But I knew if I came back and Tennessee beat, all kinds of people coming, oh, we beat you, and blah, blah, blah. And, I mean, this is not a basketball team or school. I was reminded of this at the game, looking up at their banners. Obviously, we know about Carolina's banners, and we pretty much only hang championship banners and honoring players' numbers. They have a banner with 1 year on it, 2010. It is their only Elite Eight appearance. They have another banner, 7 years to the Sweet 16. I mean, we just set, you know, we have the record for Final Fours. I know North Carolina, Tennessee can't really be compared, but like one Elite Eight, like that's unfathomable. I don't even know. Obviously, yeah, it's just not a basketball school. It's crazy. And when your court is named after the women's, no offense to the women's basketball teams, but when your court's named after the women's basketball coach, obviously Pat Summitt, one of the greatest, so well deserved. But like, yeah, you can't even imagine that. Our women don't even play in the Dean Smith Center most of the time, or really, yeah, I don't know if they ever do, but I know most of the time they don't. They play in Carmichael, so. Crazy. It was a good environment. I tweeted out that I was a little disappointed in their checkered board and the fans. They did show up. It was a good crowd. It was loud in there. They were cheering their team on. And here I'll kind of transition into my experience a little bit before we get into individual stat leaders. But Tennessee fans are way too nice about it. Again, it's probably because they're not a basketball school. But it was almost like giving themselves an out if they lost. Like, oh, yeah, you're supposed to beat us. You're Carolina. You're the defending national champions. And I don't know how many times I heard that stuff. But it's like, you get it. I mean, this is a good season for them. This is a winnable game for them. They should have pulled it out and won. But their fans were just like, oh, good job. Good luck. But I know that if we would have won, they would have been, you know, really arrogant about it and rubbing in our face. Like, yeah, we beat the national champs. Can't come into our house and win. Blah, 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 blah. And so, I mean, I don't know. I just didn't like that. The other thing I want to say kind of about my experience is just kind of forget about this. I don't get to enough games now that I have kids. I used to get to more of these games, but it is just funny listening to kind of casual fans or people that show up for their team that aren't even necessarily college basketball fans, the way they talk in the stands. There's the guy in front of me was asking who the tall, bald TV guy was for North Carolina. I said, well, I didn't really think about the TV part. I just thought tall, bald guy, it's got to be Eric Montross. He said, no. It's from a long time ago, probably before you were live and all this stuff. I was like, well, where is he? Can you point to? He pointed over. He does all ESPN's national broadcasts, the tall, bald Tar Heel. I said, no, that's Jay Billis. He's a Dookie. Like, you know, good guy, but we don't claim him. Like, he's a Dookie. And so, oh, yeah, whatever. And I mean, just, you know, I mean, to us, that's like obvious. We know that he's not a Carolina Tar Heel. And I get he's not a Tar Heel fan. He's a I guess you'd say a Tennessee Volunteer fan. But I feel like it's something like if Tennessee had a big time basketball player or alum that was the national guy, like those national guys if you're a college basketball fan, and it's kind of their colors came out and were shown, and there were several things though. Just listening to the crowd, obviously get on the refs or cheer, asking questions and stuff. It was amusing. So I would love to hear kind of what are some of the more ridiculous things you've heard in person at a game. If you tweet at me at AltarTealDan, email me at unchoopstalk@gmail.com. I'd love to kind of hear your in-person stories at the game, ridiculous phrases or questions or things that you've heard said from fans around you as you're sitting in the game. I know Tennessee had a violation where the guy ran out of bounds when he was supposed to be a spot out of bounds play. There was a turnover. I mean, several people just had no clue what was going on. As well as when they replaying, they had no idea the refs were over there checking and replaying whether there was a 2 or 3 on Kenny's 3-pointer. And I think there was one other time they were reviewing something, and I think it was an out of bounds, and it went to Tennessee that time. But people just had no idea what was going on. So love to hear what yours are. If you remember the game, it was about a certain school or just in general, some of the more ridiculous things that you've heard said at a game. I would love to hear that. But as far as stats go for this game, Joel Berry led us 21 points. Shot 7 for 19 overall. Wasn't great, but it hit 3 3-pointers. Had 4 rebounds. Had 3 turnovers, 2 assists. Luke May responded in the second half, 15 points, 8 rebounds. Garrison Brooks, 9 points, 8 rebounds. And along with him, since Roy is always clumping these two together, Sterling Manley had 10 points, 8 rebounds. Half of his were offensive, and Garrison, too, 5 of his 8 were offensive rebounds. So that's huge. Theo Pinson, 1 for 5 shooting, not great there, but hit 5 of 5 free throws. 4 of those really big down the stretch. Flirting with that triple-double again. He had 7 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. 9 rebounds, 8 assists. I feel like at some point he's going to get the rebounds and the assists and not have enough points for his triple-double. Hopefully they'd realize that and get him his points or whatever. But 4 guys in double digits. What I didn't realize kind of watching this game in person is Tennessee had 5 guys in double-figure scorings. They had Grant Williams, the North Carolina kid, with 15. The other big guy with 10. A couple of the guards with 10 and 12, and the guy off a bench with 14. So pretty balanced for them. I didn't realize that as the game was kind of going on. So we did hold them to 37% shooting for the game, 36% three-point line, whereas we shot 43% for the game and 35% from the three-point line. So, yeah, like I said, good win for the Tar Heels. And that's what we got. I've gone through enough there. It was a really good win at the time, but of course then we have to respond with our 75-79 loss to Wofford at home. Just, I don't know. They just didn't come out focused. I don't even know what it really was about this game. It was just kind of like, what the heck are you doing? Obviously, people are talking about, they're looking for Christmas break already. They're on break already. They're just not focused. They're overlooking Wofford. Coming off the big loss, they got fat and happy. I think that was Roy Williams' words there. But we were just sloppy. Obviously, people weren't focused. I don't know if it was, like coming off the Tennessee win, just thought they could show up, or if they're obviously they shouldn't be looking to Christmas break. We still have Ohio State before they're really on Christmas break. And get to go home for Christmas, so they shouldn't be that. I don't know. Is just crazy. Obviously, a big thing to note in this one is Cam Johnson made his return. Was supposed to only play, Roy said, like 6 to 8 minutes, or maybe 10 minutes. Ended up playing 17 minutes off the bench. Scored 10 points. Didn't shoot great. Was 1 for 5, all 3-pointers. He did drive. Got fouled quite a bit. Shot 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Made a positive impact. Roy late went, and that's why he got 17 minutes, as he went to the small lineup of Joel and Kenny and Theo and Cam and Luke. It looked like a really good lineup. Hopefully, as Cam gets better, I mean, it's just anybody can shoot out of that. Besides Theo, YOLO Theo did make an appearance in this game. We need to stop that. But yeah, I mean, if we could get Theo driving and have 4 guys on the outside, all of those are good shooters. Luke knocked down a 3 off somebody driving in that lineup. Obviously, as Cam gets back into shape, Kenny, we know how he shoots. Joel hits him. So, yeah, got to get them going. And individual stats in this game, I guess we'll start there. Joel Berry did have 23 points, had 5 rebounds, did have 3 more turnovers, 3 assists, shot 7 for 16, a little bit better, about 50%. 3 for 8 from the 3-point line, over 33%, so pretty good there. 6 for 7 from the free throw line. That's what I'm saying is, like, our guys that are supposed to hit the free throws. Like Luke May was 7 for 8. As I said, Cam Johnson was 7 for 8. Joel was 6 for 7. Theo is 2 for 2. It's the Garrison, it's the Sterling Manley, Huffman, Brandon Robinson. Those are the guys that we don't need at the free throw line, and we'll have a good percentage. So we went down into the half, just down 1, which again we were kind of lucky to be doing. They were knocking down threes, they were controlling tempo. Yeah, at halftime they were shooting 50%. Oh man, they only did hit 1 3 in the half at the first half. So I don't know, but obviously they're controlling tempo, 34 to 33 at halftime. And I mean, it's very similar to the Tennessee game. If we would have cleaned up turnovers, cleaned up, rebounding, got it inside, got them in foul trouble, all that stuff, it should have been the same as Tennessee, except we should obviously win by more. They did come out, they hit some crazy shots. Their guard, Fletcher McGee, hit some crazy threes, but he shot 10 for 23. It took him 23 shots. He had 27 points overall. Shot 4 for 12 from 3, which is decent, 33%. But like, he was shooting, long ones and fadeaways with guys in his face. And I mean, you get lucky and make those okay, but he wasn't even making those a lot. It was, they also got 18 points and 6 blocks and 9 rebounds from Cameron Jackson inside. He's about Luke's size. He's probably a little stronger and bigger that way, but it's not anybody we shouldn't be able to handle, even with our freshmen, a small lineup or whatever. Shouldn't have had that big of a game. And yeah, it was just, we let them get confidence. I know there was a stretch in the first half where we had like Cam Johnson and 4 freshmen in, and it was like, who's going to score out of this? What are we going to do out of this? And it kind of gave them confidence. They were hanging around, and obviously took the lead into half. And once you give us a smaller school or a lesser team that confidence that they can play with you, then anything happens. And I think that was a little bit of it. And yeah, we just didn't have the energy, the focus to get back in there. And it's not something you can just switch. It's not a light switch that you just turn on. And I also think we had some bad shot selection. Luke shot horrible. Well, really for the game, he was 4 for 16, 2 for 6. From the 3-point line, he took the second most amount of 3-pointers in this game, behind Joel Berry. The late one he took, again, I don't think he's the guy. It was under a minute, probably even under 30 seconds, and we come down and have a chance to tie, and he's the guy that takes the 3-pointer, especially when he's shooting poorly that night, that we could have got or wanted. I know he started off like 1 for 12 shooting, and I get it. You have confidence in yourself and you're shooting and to keep making and whatever, but it's like, we got other people that can shoot that shot. And I don't know, a little bit of frustration, obviously. We took some, like I said, some bad shots, definitely some sloppy play. We had 14 turnovers again in this game. We out-rebounded them 38-34, 9 offensive rebounds for us. Again, coming off that Tennessee game where Luke and Garrison and Sterling's almost half of all of their rebounds were offensive. It just wasn't there. Luke did have 17 points, 14 rebounds, but only 1 of them offensive. Again, you have to give them credit, boxing out and stuff like that. But Garrison Brooks, 10 points. Again, we could have pounded it inside a little bit more there. Kenny Williams, 9 points, shot 3 for 7 overall, 1 for 3 from the 3-point line. And maybe that's where Kenny needs to be a little more selfish and they were playing good defense, but get his shot off, and obviously that's someone we trust a little bit more. Like I said, Cam Johnson had 10 points, and then Theo was 0 for 1 shooting, had 2 free throws for his 2 points, 5 turnovers from Theo. We know that's too many for him as our playmaker. And really, that's about it. I mean, we got 3 from Sterling, 1 from Huffman. And that's, again, that's about it. Our starters played a ton of minutes. Theo played the least, I guess, with Garrison. They both had 24 minutes. Kenny 32, Luke 36, Joel 35, and then it was Cam with 17 off the bench and Sterling with 10 off the bench. No, Sterling only had 7. It was Playtech. Is that Playtech that had 10 minutes? It is. And then Brandon Robinson with 8 minutes. So, that kind of surprises me. I didn't realize Playtech played that much with giving us no points and a turnover and 1 rebound and 1 foul. But again, it's Wofford. It's a team we should beat. So what the heck happened? Is it panic mode? We got Tennessee. That is a good win on our record or on our resume. Obviously, this one is very bad for us. I don't think we can say it's panic mode. We're not firing Roy. We're not going to the NIT, anything like that. We're still going to be a good team. We lost to Michigan State very badly. We said kind of they were looking at getting home and getting back to Chapel Hill. With that game, this one, maybe they're looking at Christmas or looking back at Tennessee game and how they just pulled that one out. Hopefully this realizes or lets them realize they can't just pull the game out the end. They can't just flip that switch. Can't just show up with North Carolina on their chest and get a win. So hopefully we go on a streak here. We got Ohio State as we transition into what's coming up. We got Ohio State coming up on Saturday. It's a 1:30 p.m. Eastern tip on CBS. That is the CBS Sports Classic, where UCLA and Kentucky will play. I think we are the first game at 1:30, and then they will be at like 3:30 Eastern. Ohio State there. It's our last non-conference game. The new coach this year aren't great. Again, we should win. It's in New Orleans, so it should be more Tar Heel fans than Ohio State fans there. And their fans should be traveling out to the bowl game or something instead of going there. And then not going to podcast next week because of Christmas. And then also my birthday is the 28th, which, speaking of my birthday, if you want to get me a present, go ahead and share the podcast with somebody over the holidays. You're meeting with your family, your friends. Show them the podcast on their phone. Go have them subscribe or just tell them about it. That can be your present to me. If you want to give me a little bit more than that, you go to patreon.com/UNCHoopsTalk and become a patron of the podcast and help support. All that money goes right back into the podcast to run the production, cover hosting costs. Love to get an official website for this and all that good stuff. I'm not looking to make money off of this. That all goes right back into it. But that would be a great birthday present. But I won't be podcasting next week. So then the following Saturday, we play Wake Forest, our ACC opener, of course, in Chapel Hill. That is a noon Eastern tip on ESPN2. So got to be a little bit worried about that. We saw what happened to Duke in their ACC opener against Boston College. They are coming in at our place instead of us going there. But in that noon game, got to be careful there. Our students are still on Christmas break, so we got to be, crowd's not going to be as good. We got to have some other people show up and get the crowd going there. But hopefully they're focused again. Hopefully this game woke them up a little bit. And then I'm not quite sure if I'll get a podcast in before that. Next Wednesday, we go to Tallahassee to take on Florida State. That is a 7 p.m. Eastern tip in Tallahassee on ESPN2. We know how tough it is to go in there and play them. And they have a really good defensive team this year, so we're going to have to be efficient on offense. Hopefully Cam Johnson he should be, but a little more worked into the rotation there. We'll see about what happens with starting. I wouldn't put it past Roy. I know that Roy doesn't like to go small, but as much confidence as it looked like he had in that smaller lineup last night down the stretch, even with Cam's first game back, I wouldn't be surprised if he started Luke at the 5, Cam Johnson at the 4, or Theo. But Cam and Theo at the 3-4, Kenny at the 2, and Joel at the 1. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. I know we'll see a lot more in games. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw it in the starting lineup. But Yeah, so Ohio State Saturday, week off. Wake Forest to open up ACC play the following Saturday. That's December 30th. And then January 3rd, that Wednesday, is our road opener, I guess, for ACC in Tallahassee against Florida State. I think that's all I got. Ohio State, I would say, is winnable, or should be a win. Wake Forest, I would say, should be a win. Florida State's going to be tough. I think we can win it. I wouldn't be surprised if we lost it. So yeah, but then hopefully before Florida State, but definitely before the following Saturday when we play Virginia, I will have podcasted again to kind of cover those games. So that's what we got coming up. I want to wish everybody, all my listeners, all of Tar Heel Nation, a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, however you celebrate. And yeah, don't forget about my birthday present. Before we go, got some questions, comments here, because they're streaming live on YouTube. We got Don Juan here saying, "Hi, Dan. Disgusted after that loss. It's a long season. If we beat Ohio State, I'll feel way better." I think you and a lot of Tar Heel fans will. We took them lightly, and it cost us. And Don Juan says he will be at Smoothie Center. I don't know where that is or what he's referring to there, but John said the vlog. Vlog it if you get a chance for this road trip. Get this road trip to games thing going. Yeah, I would love to vlog. We'll go to any UNC game and vlog it. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen a lot. And hope maybe Louisville yet this year, but unlikely as it's looking like this right now. John also says, seems like with all this, Tennessee playing ACC teams this season might be a sign of conference realignment to come. I don't think Tennessee's getting out of the SEC. I don't think anything's going to happen there, but seems to be football based for most moves in their program in a decline. It is, but again, with the tradition they have, they're not going to move anywhere. It'd have to be SEC kicking them out, and I don't think they're doing that. They'd have to replace it with someone better. And as much as the fans support their football team, they still bring in a lot of money. John says, always seems to have a what the heck game to humble. Use it for March and bounce back. It's true, and that's why I'm not as worried about this game. I think, again, I think I predicted that we'd have at least 2 losses in the non-conference. It looked like we wouldn't coming into this game, but yeah, we do always have it. We've had UAB, we've had UNI, been plenty of these games before. We should be used to it as Tar Heel fans. And then John says, with all the smaller programs off the schedule, will Theo get his triple-double before the senior season? I mean, I think he really could. He's got the stats. It's all there. And I don't think it's even an opponent. I mean, to get just 10 points, it's not like you went off. And he's capable of getting the assists, getting the rebounds. I don't think he will, is just kind of my guess. But I think he's got the talent. He could do it. And then Grant Bowden says, unfortunately, we have to take the bad with the good. Very true. I guess it's what you have to go through being a fan of a team. We will bounce back. And that's something I think we need to remember, because like I was going through the Tennessee banners up there where they have 1 Elite 8 and 7 Sweet 16s, and they have a banner just for the years they make the tournament. I mean, can you imagine that, all the years that North Carolina's made the tournament? We put a banner up for every year they made it. So we are lucky being Tar Heel fans and with our program. So we do have to kind of take the good with the bad. And if the worst that happens to us is this Wofford game this year, like, I think we're doing okay. So yeah, we got to take that with it. But like I said, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody out there. Thank you for listening. Make sure to share the podcast with your friends and family as you're meeting with them. And that's all I got until next time, which will be a couple of weeks here after the Ohio State game and possibly after the Florida State game. We will talk to you again. Go Heels.